resulting in loss of sunlight and adversely affecting amenity and quality of life of those nearby occupiers, contrary to SP3 of the Borough Local Plan submission version. A history of antisocial behaviour in nearby car parks, and the proposal is likely to attract antisocial behaviour and the possibility of crime, including fear of crime. The location is unsuitable due to proximity to nearby dwellings. While the operation of a car park is unlikely to have observable impact on the local communities, the application clearly did not take account of antisocial behaviour contrary to para 127 of the NPPF. There is another site available, and therefore this proposal has not passed the sequential test contrary to para 158 of the NPPF. RBWM is in the process of producing a strategy to deal with tall buildings and parking in the town centre, and therefore this application is premature. To that, I would like to add a reference to air quality, and I would like to also add a reference to access for the disabled. If they want to get to the station, they've got to cross two major roads, and there is not adequate provision for that. Thank you.
Okay, Councillor Richard Kellaway.
Thanks, Chairman. I'll just make a few points. The first is on the car parking issue. Quite honestly, there's no dispute that we need another car park. At the moment, we've lost part of Hines Meadow, we've lost part of Braywick, Grove Road, the Town Hall, and the station, and the Broadway are all due for redevelopment. And on top of that, I think the potential increase with Crossroads is about 40%. So we do need another car park. There's been mention of the area action plan and whether it should be north or south of Stafferton Way. This is not terribly relevant. The area action plan is an indication of what could be done. Paragraph 728 in the papers here puts it quite well. It says the site could not be considered to be in a predominantly residential area. The application site sits within the wider opportunity area within the Maidenhead AAP, which has a commercial focus and allocates the site for employment purposes. This indicates that a large-scale building would have been anticipated for this site. Quite honestly, if we turn down the car park, you'll have another application for an equally large block of flats or offices, which would take up the space. And that is the most likely alternative for this site. Now, in terms of the various comments as to what is wrong with it, under the consultees, page 45 of this, there are no objections from the Ecology Officer, the Environment Agency, Berkshire Archaeology, the Tree Officer, Environmental Protection, or Highways, or the Flood Authority, or the Police. Quite honestly, Chairman, I see no reason why we can't approve this, and I would propose that we go with the Officer's recommendation.
Okay, Councillor Philip Love.
Thanks, Chair. This again is a very full report with some useful additional points which I've taken on board. The application is for a car park that's located within a reasonable walking distance of the town and will provide long stay spaces. The fact is that there's already an unmet parking demand from existing employers in Maidenhead. This car park will provide parking for these existing and future businesses and ensure staff retention. And why is this so important? Because businesses employ staff and they help with the vitality of the town during daytime. Footfall figures show that the busiest time period calculated using a weekly average is 12:30 to 1:30, Monday to Friday. The other benefit is that it frees up the town parking centre for short stay use by shoppers and leisure visitors who are also vital to the town centre economy. So from both aspects, this car park, long stay car park, is essential. Now, coming to the residents' concerns, one concern is that noise will increase and will exist 24 hours a day, and this will impact on the residents' lives and health. As far as this car park is concerned, the car park management plan sets out the entrance gate to the car park will be closed and locked shut at 8 o'clock each day and opened at 5 o'clock in the morning. That's 15 hours of two-way traffic. Flow plates will be installed which will cause damage to any car that tries to enter via the exit. However, people arriving from a late train or working late will be able to get to their cars and leave up to midnight when all exits will be locked shut. But let's remember that the majority of people using this long-term car park will arrive between 7 and 9 o'clock in the morning and 5 o'clock to 7 o'clock during weekdays. Another concern is that the car park will add to the existing issues from antisocial behaviour. And we know that 8 weekends ago there were joyriders in Stafferton Way car park. Today I rang my contact community warden and he confirmed that there's been no trouble since, and they will continue to visit this car park on Friday and Saturday evenings to check the situation. In this car park there will be CCTV on exit and entry and all floors, including covering the pay machines and stairwells. These will be linked to Tinkers Lane CCTV control, who will also be able to note any unusual build-up of cars, and based on the recommended conditions 13, 14 and 15, Thames Valley Police raised no objections. Another concern is the air pollution will increase, having a negative impact on residents' health. Well, our Environmental Protection Officer confirmed that the level of nitrogen dioxide monitored in Stafferton Way near Vickers Way in 2017 was well below the national air quality objective of 40 micrograms per cubic metre. The annual average daily traffic down Stafferton Way is over 11,000 cars. So even if you said that the car park would be full with 500 cars driving in and out equaling 1,000 daily movements, it would still only increase the level of nitrogen dioxide by less than 10%. To 32 micrograms per cubic metre, which is well below the national air quality objective of 40. The concern with headlights coming into the apartments was picked up early in the design stage, and the southern elevation has solid balustrade to prevent headlights shining into the residential properties, and all lights selected for the top floor of the multi-storey car park have zero upward light output. There is also a strong barrier of trees dividing the car park from the loftings, and I believe the same system is being used at the new Carnival car park in Wokingham at night time. There, the lights are dimmed at night by 90% at 8 o'clock, and they revert to operation on passive infrared using photocell sensing, which triggers the lights floor by floor. So when a car or person goes up from floor level, each level will light up accordingly. I would like to see a condition that this 8 o'clock dimming operation is in place. Stafferton Way already has a mix of fairly bulky buildings 2 to 5 stories high, with flatted development behind the site, the loftings are 5 to 6. The application site is around 1 to 1.5 metres lower than the surrounding ground level, and the architectural design has been influenced by this. I've heard what's been said about the transport assessment. The results from 755 to 762 show that the scheme would have an acceptable impact upon highway safety. I'm pleased to see that condition 18 ensures that before the car park can be used, a footway to the north of the site and provision of a zebra crossing on Vickers Way will be provided. The only place and time when the model predicts that the ratio of flow to capacity values are above the practical maximum value of 0.85 is the A308 Rushington Avenue Stafferton Way junction, where during the morning peak it's at 0.9. The Stafferton Way Vickers Way roundabout is predicted to operate within capacity at a maximum of 0.76. And overall, the cumulative effect on the roadway network from this development would not be severe or result in a danger to highway safety. I'd also like to mention that I agree that the roadside electric signs show there are hundreds of spaces available in our 3 main car parks. However, I read page 46 of this report showing results of the parking team that conducted space counts on the 3rd of December. It tells a completely different story, but to be sure, I asked that another count be conducted yesterday. There were 2,624 spaces in the Hines Meadow, Broadway and Stafferton Way car parks. The main conclusion from the survey yesterday are long stay spaces, a high of 46 spaces available at 3:30 p.m. Short stay spaces, a high of 190 spaces available at 9:30 a.m. Total of all spaces, a low of 370 spaces available at 12:30, of which 149 were not available to the general public, and a high of 425 spaces available at 9:30 p.m, of which 143 were not available to the general public. What's apparent is that there are many place spaces reserved for adjacent offices, others leased to companies, reserved to residents, season ticket holders, and some for shop mobility. In order to give a truer picture of spaces available, perhaps we should deduct all those spaces that are not available to the general public, so that when we see the electric signs, they are true reflection. Finally, I'd just like to say this corner plot was always going to be developed, and Stafton Way is a road with large retailers and a very well-used supermarket opening 7 days a week. I would have thought a passive, well-designed building that was only busy for the morning and evening peak hours, Monday to Friday, was certainly preferable to any other possible 7 days a week retailer. It's a very full report with over 150 documents reporting on all those issues and 21 conditions in the report. Having considered all the issues, on balance, I would like to recommend approval, but with my 2 conditions hopefully added. That patrols continue to visit both the Stafton Way and Vickers Way car parks at the appropriate times to carry out surveillance and report any misuse, and that lights are dimmed at 2000 hours and revert to the PIA passive infrared system. Thank you, Chair.
You mean you're seconding it?
I'm seconding it, sorry.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Love. I know our Head of Planning would like to just comment on the reference that you made to the lighting. So if I can call upon our Head of Planning to respond to that particular issue.
Sorry, Chairman, if Councillor Love, I missed the second point that you made. So your 2 conditions, the first was patrols continue to visit the car parks, and the second was?
Well, like Wokingham Council do at the new Carnival car park, they dim the lights by 90% at 8 o'clock in the evening. And therefore, and then it goes on to this PIA, the passive infrared system.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, yes, Chairman, Councillor Love was talking about lighting.